In today's fast-paced, often chaotic world, finding moments of clarity and self-awareness can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. With constant distractions and external pressures, understanding our own minds becomes both a challenge and a necessity. What is observer-speaker concentration? At its core, observer-speaker concentration is a form of dharana, a Sanskrit term meaning concentration or the gathering of essence. Here, the essence being gathered is your attention. Unlike passive meditation, this technique involves actively observing your internal experience and verbalizing those observations in real time. It's a dynamic process that splits your mental space into two roles, the observer and the speaker. The two roles. The observer. This is the part of you that watches, like a silent invigilator. It remains stationary, tracking what's happening within your mind, body, or emotions. It's the awareness that notices thoughts, sensations, or feelings as they arise, and it keeps tabs on the flow of time or the start and end of a process. The speaker, attached to the observer, is the function of articulation. Whatever the observer notices, the speaker verbalizes. This isn't about narrating a story or analyzing. It's a direct, immediate expression of what's being observed. For example, if you're meditating and a feeling of restlessness arises, the observer registers it, and the speaker says, "I feel restless." If a thought about tomorrow's meeting pops up, you might say, "I'm thinking about a meeting." The key is that observation and speaking happen simultaneously, creating a feedback loop that deepens awareness. How to practice observer-speaker concentration. The technique is simple but requires practice to master. Here's how it works. Set the stage. Find a quiet space to sit comfortably, though the technique can also be applied during activities like walking or speaking. The goal is to create a moment where you can focus inward. Engage the observer. As you begin, cultivate an observer thought, a part of your mind that watches the doer, the part experiencing thoughts, emotions, or actions. For instance, if you're meditating, the doer is the one feeling sensations or thinking thoughts, while the observer watches this process unfold. Activate the speaker. As the observer notices something, articulate it aloud. If you're alone, speak clearly. If in a group, you might whisper or speak softly. The act of speaking anchors the observation, making it more concrete. For example, "My breath is slow," or "I'm distracted by sound." Stay present. The challenge is to maintain both roles simultaneously. You might slip into being just the doer, lost in thoughts or actions, but gently return to the observer-speaker state. Over time, this dual awareness becomes more natural. This practice isn't limited to formal meditation. You can apply it in real-life situations, like during a conversation. While talking, the observer might notice your tone or emotions, and the speaker could say, "I'm speaking quickly," or "I feel nervous." This real-time awareness can enhance communication and self-understanding. Beyond simple awareness. Awareness is the foundation of this technique, but it goes beyond passive noticing. The sources emphasize that we're always aware of something, thoughts, sensations, or even the absence of awareness. "I'm not aware of what I'm doing." In Hindi, this awareness is called man, the mind, which often wanders uncontrolled, sometimes leading to confusion or fear. Observer-speaker concentration structures this wandering awareness. Instead of trying to restrain the mind like a leashed animal, you follow where it goes, observing and articulating each step. This process transforms scattered awareness into a focused practice, offering clarity and insight. The person introducing this technique initially experimented without fully understanding it, only later realizing it was a form of dharana. They noted that when the observer thought became strong, the speaking function sometimes paused, indicating a shift in focus. However, the core practice involves maintaining both observation and articulation, especially for beginners. Why it works? This technique is powerful because it divides your mental space into two distinct yet interconnected roles. By separating the observer from the doer, you create a vantage point to watch your own mind in action. Verbalizing observations reinforces this separation, making it easier to stay present and avoid getting lost in the stream of thoughts or emotions. In practical terms, it's like having an internal narrator who keeps you grounded. For example, in public speaking, you might observe fear rising, "I'm feeling anxious," and, by naming it, reduce its grip. In meditation, articulating distractions, "I'm thinking about lunch," helps you acknowledge them without being pulled away. The sources also highlight its versatility. It's particularly useful for narrators, performers, or anyone speaking to groups, as it builds the ability to monitor and adjust in real time. Even in everyday life, it fosters self-awareness, helping you notice patterns, like how often you're distracted or reactive, and gently shift them. Connecting to broader concepts. Observer-speaker concentration ties into deeper philosophical and spiritual ideas explored in the sources, offering a practical entry point to profound truths. States of consciousness. The technique aligns with the idea that consciousness shifts between states like waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Sleeping, for instance, involves moving attention from the physical body to the subtle body, sukshma sharira, where mental images dominate. Waking isn't defined by physical posture, like sitting with eyes open, but by where attention rests. Observer-speaker concentration trains you to consciously direct attention, mirroring the natural shifts that occur in sleep or yoga practices. Attention and awareness. Attention is described as the source of life itself. Understanding how it moves between gross physical signals like touch and finer mental signals like thoughts is key to self-awareness. In this technique, you track attention's movement by observing and articulating it, gaining insight into your mind's habits and tendencies. The nature of experience. The sources propose that human existence is memory, stored in the body as a memory register. External inputs, like sounds or sensations, are converted into subtle signals in the mental body even during sleep, where they may manifest as dreams. Observer-speaker concentration helps you observe this process, noticing how experiences are registered and recalled, and how attention shapes perception. The observer-doer dynamic. Yoga aims to close the gap between doing and observing, either by becoming fully the doer, losing the observer, or fully the observer, losing the doer. This technique is a stepping stone, cultivating a separate observer thought alongside the doer. By verbalizing observations, you strengthen this separation, paving the way for deeper states of awareness. Toward deeper states, practicing observer-speaker concentration builds the capacity to observe without being swept away by the doer. Over time, the doer moments, when you're lost in action or thought, may shrink, while the observer-speaker moments expand. This shift leads toward witness consciousness, a yogi goal where everything is simply witnessed without attachment. The technique also sets the stage for progressing from dharana, concentration, to dhyana, meditation. In dhyana, the observer turns inward, observing itself with no external object. Further practice can lead to samadhi, a state of complete absorption. By starting with observer-speaker concentration, you develop the foundational skill of sustained attention, essential for these deeper states. Unlike pure dharana, where the observer is silent, this technique involves action, speaking, making it accessible for beginners. It's a bridge between everyday awareness and the profound stillness of advanced meditation, offering a practical way to begin the journey. Living the practice. The beauty of observer-speaker concentration lies in its adaptability. You can practice it during meditation, but also while working, talking, or even navigating stress. It's a tool for sadhana, sustained spiritual practice, allowing you to stay aware while engaging in karma, action. By cultivating an observer thought and articulating its findings, you integrate mindfulness into daily life. Ultimately, the technique aims for unity, a state where the observer and doer merge, and you're fully present, observing everything within you with clarity. It's a path to greater self-awareness, helping you navigate modern life's complexities with calm and insight. Whether you're new to meditation or a seasoned practitioner, observer-speaker concentration offers a tangible way to explore your mind, connect with ancient wisdom, and find balance in a hectic world. Try it for a few minutes today, observe, speak, and discover the power of your own awareness.